What's up guys, welcome to Voicey here. This is your host, Captain Zach, and today's subreddit is r/IDontWorkHereLady. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode. This story's called PSA, Student Tour Guides Do Not Make Admissions Decisions. In college, I was a tour guide for prospective students. You know, walking backwards and telling them scripted puns. Technically, I was employed by the admissions office to do this, but in no capacity was I involved in admissions decisions whatsoever. No one asked me, which kids asked a smart question, or who texted through the whole tour, or anything. My entire job description was show up, walk the families around campus, answer questions about student life. For context, I'd give 3 to 6 tours a week to groups of 40 plus people. So I was home for break one Christmas, and in a large chain store, I see a woman glaring at me. I didn't think much of it at the time because I didn't know her, but as I progressed down the aisles, I realized she was following me. She had a daughter about my age, and they were whispering. All I was able to catch was, "No, that's definitely her." The woman approaches me and says, "Are you," my name, "who toured us around my college?" And I say, "Yeah." "I bet you think you're pretty hot stuff, huh?" What? "My daughter had a rock-solid application and her alumni interviewer said her chances were very good. 2 days after our visit, she's rejected. You're the only one affiliated with the university we spoke to that whole time." "Yeah." "Quiet, I'm handling this." I'm sorry to hear she wasn't accepted, but I have nothing to do with admissions decisions. I just give tours. "I'm not an idiot. I know they tell you to say that." "No, seriously, I'm a sophomore there myself. You can call and ask. I do not get any input into admissions." "But you work for the admissions department." "Okay, technically they hired me, but there are janitors who work for the admission department, and they don't get to decide who gets in. It's a specialized job." "Quit your bull. I had near perfect ACT scores. I bet I had better scores than you." At that point, I think my mom thought I was just catching up with people I knew since there was a girl my age, but she started to realize something was wrong at this point. "Just tell me why you didn't let me in. You can tell me. It's the past now. Just tell me." "Was it the community service issue? Come on, be honest. You can tell us." "I really don't know. I have nothing to do with it. I swear." "You can actually call and ask, and they will tell you tour guides don't get to decide that stuff." "You bet we will be calling and filing a complaint and..." "Excuse me, what's happening here? Who are you?" "Who are you?" "Everything okay?" I was getting upset by this point because a lot was going on, and if you insist loudly enough to me that I've done something wrong, eventually I'll start to believe you. "Is it because I'm white?" "I'm a person of color." "What? What are you guys talking about?" "Let's just go, let's check out." "Not admitting my daughter was the biggest mistake of your career. I'm a millionaire and I would have made big donations to the school. When your boss hears from me, you're gonna be fired." I wasn't even upset at that point because it was so absurd. No way a millionaire would be shopping at the store we were in. My mom leads me away and looks at me, still very confused at what's going on. We bought our items and I was pretty rattled as I went to the car. But as I was explaining, the absurdity of the whole situation fully hit me and I just started laughing. Okay. Ew. Gosh, okay, just entitled people in general, just gross, man. "I'm a millionaire, I would have made donations to the school." Gross. But hey, at least after reading this, we now know why she probably wasn't accepted, because her behavior is dookie. Alright guys, I have a crazy one for you. It's called Karen Goes Full Exorcist. And I guess this is a subtitle. Made Karen scream, puke, and pass out. Hey my Reddit peoples! This story happened last week. I live in Scotland and this took place at my local Tesco. For context, I don't work because I'm disabled and have to use a walking stick to get around. And on this day, I was wearing a green camouflage jacket, blue jeans, and a black bandana. The uniform for Tesco employees is black trousers and blue fleece with a name tag. Not remotely similar. So I'm just trying to get a few things for dinner and walking around the chilled section, minding my own business. I then feel the talons of a Tyrannosaurus digging into the flesh of my arm, followed by the ear-piercing screech of, "Excuse me!" Here's the cast. There's me, Tyrannosaurus. Manager. So, after I feel the clutching talons cutting into my flesh and feeling the blood pouring from my shattered eardrums, I turn around to see the massive, overinflated beach ball with a bad bob cut snarling at me with a face that looks like it went through a deep fryer. Can I help you? About time you noticed me! Believe me, I could smell her before I saw her. I've been waiting here for ages for you to help me. I stand there puzzled as to why she was saying this to me. I can't find the random items that I don't remember. Where are they? I don't know. I don't work here, but I think a staff member is in the next apartment. Don't lie to me. You do work here. I've seen you here before, so you have to work here. I'm not stupid enough to fall for your BS. At this point, I decided that it was time to not be nice. I take off my glasses and hand them to her. Do you need to borrow these? She looks at me with a puzzled look. What are you talking about? I guess that you must have bad eyesight and can't see that I'm not wearing a single thing that remotely resembles a staff uniform. That doesn't mean anything. You could just be on your break, so you still have to help me. She stands there with a smug face, thinking that she just proved a point. Lady, did you sustain a major head injury recently? Or did you drink a lot of bleach when you were a child? No. Wait, I think I got it. Your parents were brother and sister, weren't they? Because that would explain your disturbing lack of intelligence. I then see something that I would never believe possible. Entitled Karen turns from white to red and then to purple. She throws her head back and lets out the loudest and most ear-piercing scream I have ever heard. I thought she would stop after a split second, but no. She screamed for a solid 15 seconds without taking a breath. This was impressive, but what then followed was a scene from The Exorcist. She projectile vomited straight up like a water fountain made of mushroom soup and cheap vodka. When she was finally done, her eyes rolled into the back of her head and she dropped flat on her puke-covered face. I look around to see the whole store watching and the manager walking over to me. Ops? What the hell happened here? I tried to explain what happened, but he didn't seem to get it and asked me to leave. Ordinarily, I would have complained, but in this case, I just wanted to get the hell out of there. I was lucky he didn't call the police, and Entitled Karen was fine after a few minutes. I saw her get up as I was leaving. Okay, that's an alarming scenario to have read, but I feel like, stick with me, it might have been slightly embellished, but, alright, I don't know for sure, but I feel like the levels of absurdity kind of give it away, but who knows, you know? Anyways, I thought that would be a treat because of how crazy it was. That was fun to read. This story's called, Give Me That Funky Wheelchair Now. My friends told me that I should post this, not only because it fits in the r/IDontWorkHereLady category, but also to serve as a warning to let others know there are some really crazy nuts out there who have no comprehension or observation skills about how real life and the lives of people work. A little background on me so you understand the serious situation this whole thing put me in. About 6 years ago, I wound up with several health conditions that all interacted with one another, creating a domino effect of health problems. During the course of those 6 years, plus this current year, I have been hospitalized for no less than a week at a time, 15 times. Despite getting most of the conditions stabilized, I have a few more hurdles to overcome. Those being 1, a heart condition where my pump capacity is at 35% and requires me to get a pacemaker, plus 1 leaking valve, and due to the low pump and all my hospital stays, I've lost almost all the strength of my legs to where I toddle wobble walk with a cane. But to truly retain my legs, I need to use a rollator, a stroller with 4 wheels and a seat. Also, my legs are so weak. I don't have the strength for the lift or push of the legs to get me upstairs and, more especially, getting off the floor or ground if I fall. Once I'm down, and it takes about 2 to 3 men to help me get upright. So one day, I go to a store to grab some food and medical supplies. Won't say the store's name, but they usually wear Smurf-colored vests. I slowly toddle walk into the store, and that day I am wearing black jeans with holes, bright red suspenders to hold the pants up due to all the weight I've lost, a white short-sleeve dress shirt, and a very bright and loud red, green, and goldish colored plaid vest. I don't even make it past the security sensors when I'm suddenly grabbed from behind by a woman who looks like she's never worked a day in her life and done up to the nines, so she looks like she should be shopping at high retail stores in New York or Paris instead of this local place. I'm gonna call her Snooty. I know they usually call these ladies Karen, but My bonus mom's name is Karen, and she has never treated me badly, so snooty it is for me. Thus, the playbill for this little production is going to be me, Snooty, store security, store manager, and of course, kind of piecing together what I remember of the argument/conversation. As stated, I didn't even make it past the security sensors at the building entrance when Snooty grabs me from behind by my right elbow and attempts to spin me around. I shift as best as I can, rollator and all, and see this highfalutin lady with an exceptionally annoyed look on her face. "Excuse me? Did you not see me try to flag you down? How could you miss us? You walked right past me and my crippled daughter." Her daughter isn't crippled. In fact, all she has on is a brace boot around her left ankle and foot. Lost in a little bit of confusion, I say, "I'm sorry, I thought you were waving at someone you knew in the parking lot. Do I know you?" "No, you don't, but you should pay attention to customers when you bring in the handicapped items such as that wheelchair. I flagged you down because my daughter needs it." I'm sorry, but this isn't a wheelchair." "Yes, it is. This store provides them for handicapped customers, and you need to do your job and give this one to us." That's not my job. In fact, I don't have a job. I'm in the middle of getting approved for disability." "Really? What a world. Anyone thinks they can get away with lying and excuses. Give me the wheelchair and I'll be nice and won't report you." I don't work here, lady." "Yes, you do. You're wearing a vest and this is one of the store's wheelchairs." She places a hand on one of the bars on my rollator and grips tightly. "No, I do not work here, lady. I'm a customer. I'm not wearing the right kind of vest. This item doesn't belong to the store. It's not a wheelchair, it's a rollator. And the store doesn't provide wheelchairs, they provide scooters which are located behind you, like my walker." Snooty attempts to jerk the rollator from me. "I'm going to report you for being rude to customers, especially ones who are handicapped. You're not following the ADA laws. That'll get you fired for certain." I'm pulling back on my rollator. "Again, I do not work here. This doesn't belong to the store, it belongs to me. It's not a wheelchair and your daughter isn't handicapped. She has an ankle brace on, probably meaning she just twisted or sprained her ankle. Grab her a scooter if you want, but leave me alone." "More lies! More lies! I'm taking this wheelchair and I'm going straight to the head manager to have you fired." What happens next is a tug of war, to the best of my ability, between myself and the lady with my rollator. She eventually does something kind of, intelligent, and she pushes on one of my pulls, which causes me to stumble backward, eventually tripping over my own feet and kaboom! Down I go to the floor, landing on my right butt cheek and my shoulder and head slamming to the floor. I'm in a tremendous amount of pain. The room in my head is spinning. The lady is saying something to me in scalding tones, shaking her finger at me, but my head is ringing. I'm now short of breath, so I don't really hear nor understand her. She huffs and walks away, and I was told she was slightly cursing as she was having troubles trying to push her daughter around in the wheelchair. Note: rollators are made so you walk facing the seat, thus the handlebars face out away, not from behind the seat. Several minutes go by, folks are trying to help me get up. Finally, there comes in a gentleman and I believe his two sons, all of whom look like they could be professional linebackers, who managed to get me up and escort me to one of the benches just inside the entrance doors. Just a couple minutes more and the store manager and a security guard come walking up to me with very stern looks upon their faces. "We understand you are trying to take a wheelchair from a handicapped customer and that you were, He began glancing up and down at me. "Well, obviously attempting to pass yourself off as an employee of our store." "No, I was trying to come in here to buy some groceries and medical items when this woman accosted me, telling me I needed to give her my rollator." "Well, this woman said you tried to manhandle her to take it away from her." I explained my medical conditions and how it's impossible for me to be able to manhandle anyone at the present time or foreseeable future. The man and sons who helped pick me up informed the manager and security that I had to be picked up off the floor and that I had no leg strength as far as they could tell. After this, the manager and security looked me over and then looked at each other with expressions that said this needed to be looked into further. The store security called for another security officer to have him/her find the lady and her daughter and bring them up to the front of the store. When they arrive, Snooty starts right on in. "You've got the right, or should I say, the wrong man. He needs to be fired now, and I have a good mind to press charges against him and the store for his assaulting me."
"Ma'am, I can't fire him as he doesn't work here."
"Yes, he does. He's wearing one of your vests."
"You mean a vest like this?"
He raises up a side of the vest he's wearing.
"It looks nothing like our vest, ma'am. It also doesn't have our name nor our logo on it."
"Well then, he tried to impersonate an employee so he could attack the disabled. I still wish to press charges."
"Ma'am, he says this stroller is his."
"This is not his wheelchair." "It's not a wheelchair. If she owned it, she'd know it's not one. Also, if it was hers, why does she have my wallet and prescription list in the basket under the seat?" "That shows why you're not the owner. There's no basket under the seat." The store security helps up her daughter out of the rollator and onto the bench seat, walks over and flips the seat up, revealing a little basket which contains my wallet and my newest list of prescriptions to order. Snooty now looks up wide-eyed and somewhat terrified. Store security tells his partner to make sure Snooty doesn't go anywhere. Store manager and store security proceed up the staircase to the manager and security offices. They're gone for about 20 minutes and then come back. Store security informs Snooty that the incident was all caught on camera and proves she's the one who started everything, accosted me, and then walked off with my rollator. She starts screaming and threatening the store security and store manager with lawsuits and such, but is cut off when an ambulance crew arrives followed by the local police. The ambulance crew get the gurney prepped for me with the backboard and neck brace. Not that I needed it, but with the fall, they have to make sure that I'm extra stable and taken in to see if I have anything wrong with my neck, back, or concussion. They get me loaded and I'm waiting a few minutes when the police come back from the offices and ask me what I'd like to do. I can be a forgiving guy, usually given my mood and circumstances, but I was still hurting, in utter disbelief at what this lady did, and peaked off beyond all feeling. I let her have it. I told the officers I wanted to press charges for assault and battery if I could get it, as well as theft of my rollator and my wallet. I'm not sure what all happened to the lady, although I know she didn't help herself out. As I was being rolled out the doors on the gurney, I saw her break away from the police, take a defensive stance, and then she started flailing and smacking the officers with her purse and arms, as well as kicking their legs with her pricey name brand pumps. It didn't take long before they had her face down on the ground, knees in her back, and the handcuffs becoming the next bit of bling around her wrist, looking oh so plain compared to her bracelets. I didn't have to do anything. About a week later, I got a letter from the county courthouse informing me that her case was already heard. The store video, store managers, and store security's testimony, as well as those from a couple of other people who came forward after realizing what it was they saw when they walked past us, was more than enough to convict her. I don't know if she served time in jail or community service, but either way, I hope she got to be seen in something either bright orange or maybe an old-fashioned little black and white striped dress. Okay, that story was intense. I would love to see the video feed from that. Not the tug-of-war, because I feel like that would just be kind of sad to watch, but I meant the Snooty fighting off the police officers. It's a very funny image. Anyways, moving on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.